How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Steinsgate, my darling's embrace. Where last time we're trying to save the Faris May Queen, whatever. I almost said Nyan. I don't know why I said that. Okay. We're going to be saving the May Queen, and we're trying to do a promotional video, which did not go well. The table read. There was not a whole lot of great substance there, unfortunately. But Moeka claimed that she could fix it up and that she'd be ready by this morning, which is interesting. But now we're at Moeka's apartment, which will be also very interesting. But other than that, everyone's been working at the May Queen. All of our characters, like our favorite characters, have been there. They've been doing a pretty solid job, it seems. 4 degrees Celsius hasn't responded as of yet, so I'm looking forward to that drama. But for now, we get to have just a fun little adventure with Moeka to see what kind of video we can make with all of our cat maids. So I guess there's not really much else to preamble here. Let's just jump right into it. The next morning, Faris and I are standing in the front of the apartment building near Akihabara. I woke up to an email from Moeka this morning. The script is done. Hee I'm such a genius, right? Except I pulled an all-nighter and kinda can't move anymore. I'm gonna catch them. Should I? Here's my address. You can just swing by. Contacted Faris, and so here we are, standing in front of Moeka's building. Her place is located at an old 2-floor building made of wood. Gives off a distinct Showa-era feel to it, and I wouldn't be terribly surprised if it was built over 40 years ago. When I say it has a Showa-era feel to it, I don't mean that it's in a good way. The place is in terrible condition. The staircase and the outside hallways are full of rusted pipes and the like. Hope this thing doesn't fall apart. Faris and I cautiously climb the iron staircase and head to Moeka's apartment. I knock on the door, but silence.
Oi! Shiatsu!
We both call out to her, knocking a little more strongly this time. Still, no reply. I have no idea, Faris.
寝てるのかもしれん。
Just a tad. But you know what? We could just go and, I don't know, spend some time together. Maybe we could go look at those retro PCs for a little bit. Faris furrows her brow, then casually turns the doorknob. And then, with a creepy creaking sound, the door slowly opens into a disaster zone. Well, wait, if you didn't expect that, why'd you try the doorknob?
不用心にも程があるな。
It's entirely possible that she left the door open for us because she knew we were coming to get the script, but then, even then, that's way too dangerous for a woman living alone. Faris calls to Moeka and steps through the doorway. The next moment, I hear a tiny scream.
どうした?
Did something happen? I immediately rush in after Faris. I'm guessing it's just the horrific mess. It kind of looks like someone robbed the place, probably. God! Oh, true chaos. Not the chaos that I, Hion, and Kyoma seek. No, the spectacle before my eyes is that of which even I would never willingly partake in. Convenience store bags are strewn about every which way. Empty beer and cocktail cans are scattered all over the place. Amidst the dirty clothes on the floor are papers that I can only assume are research materials for her antics. It's all just a huge mess.
やっぱり片付けられない女だったか。
Someone can clean to save her life. It's apparently a reference. Derived from American counselor Sari Solden's book, Women with Attention Deficit Disorder. During the localization process, the title of Solden's book was unfortunately mistranslated into Japanese as Women Who Can't Clean. Resulting in widespread misunderstandings that have stuck to this day. Oh my gosh. What a disaster. What? How do you mistranslate Women with Attention Deficit Disorder to Women Who Can't Clean? What the fetch is wrong with that? Yeah. In one of the corners of the room, I spot Moeka curled up into a ball on the floor. She's not even sleeping on a futon? I take my shoes off and step in. Faris close behind me. Brave of you to take your shoes off.
すまないが少しだけ起きてくれ。
Oh, Moeka, come on. You need to take care of yourself. Morning, sleepyhead.
って寝るな
I speak close to her ear, causing her to sit up, blinking confusedly.
何じゃなくて台本ができたってメールくれたろ
She like doesn't even remember it. Looks like she's finally got blood flowing to her brain. Moeka remembers why we're here. After slowly crawling over to her table, she begins rummaging through the stuff on top of it. Books, copies of documents, and all kinds of other items fall to the floor. Moeka hands Faris a printed stack of papers. Faris seems confused. I curiously peek over her shoulder and see big, bold letters. Now you two can be a cleaned up pro. 10 vital rules from the charismatic housewife. What? Yeah, no comment. So you write articles about stuff you have no idea what you're talking about? Moeka grabs a stack of papers from Faris and puts it back where she found it. She hands over a separate stack. Hey, Shining Finger, maybe you should get that charismatic housewife to clean your own place before you write an article like that. As I internally shake my head in dismay, Faris reads over the read-on script. She nods, clearly satisfied with the end result. Ooh, well, you said that about the first one, but yeah, let's see. I hope so. I take a look at the script and yeah, the basic story is mostly the same, but all the complaints have been addressed. The weird, vague parts have been cleared up, and now there's a proper made story. To be honest, I never knew Shining Finger had this kind of talent. She should be writing novels or something. I doubt it, but I wonder if Moeka, at least in this story, is being like kind of typecast as maybe like one of the writers for the actual game. I mean, it's possible. Even the writer possibly referencing themselves in a disparaging way, but I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it. It'd be really cruel to hand over the fate of somebody who you're supposed to be like a personification of you to what Moeka gets. Moeka points at the printer next to the table. What appears to be recently printed papers are still sitting in the tray. While there are still some blanks here and there, the headers and photos are neatly laid out. She must be using this as a reference to see how it'll look in the magazine. The article itself is about the Okabe Maid Cafe War, and judging from the headlines on the page, it's going to be about 4 degrees Celsius' crooked methods and all the illicit rumors surrounding him. Ooh. Absolutely.
だがな、その前にちゃんと寝ろしやつし。今日はお前休みなんだろ?
Yeah. Can we get you a futon real quick? Maybe clear some floor space? Moeka immediately lays down and closes her eyes. It's less like sleeping and more like fainting.
おい、それはちゃんと寝るとは言わん。着替えろ。布団を敷け。
But no matter how much I shake her body, Moeka stays silent. That's super not healthy. With no other choice left to me, I cover her with a blanket that's lying nearby, and Faris and I quietly exit the room. Fortunately, the door has a push-type automatic locking cylinder, so I'm able to lock it from the outside. Good, good. Oh wait, what am I doing? I clicked away from it. I think I know what that is. Hang on. Tips. A type of lock first designed and sold by American company Schlage. I think they still do locks, actually. It is called a cylindrical lock. The locking function is placed inside the doorknob for easy locking from the inside via the push button. Yeah. I've got tons of these in my house. Doorknobs with the automatic lock function also allow for locking from the outside by closing the door while holding down the push button. Because its design was easy to mass produce, a huge number of units were sold during Japan's high economic growth period. However, due to its inability to keep thieves out, they're now primarily used on bathroom and hallway doors. Exactly, because they have to, for safety reasons, make it unlockable from the outside, so they have like a little pin that you can put into it to unlock it. But yeah, so fetch. I mean, It's odd that that's the kind of lock that she has for this apartment. Like, I get it's such an old apartment, so that's kind of like a trademark of it, but man, talk about low security.
どうするかな?
I look down at my watch. It's still only 10 a.m. We spent less time at Moeka's place than I'd expected, so we're ahead of schedule. Both of us figured we'd be discussing things for a while with Moeka, but then we'd head to May Queen Nyan Nyan in the afternoon.
しょうがないにゃ。ちょっと早いけど、フェイリスはメイクインでお仕事するにゃ。
Hey, wait a minute. Why don't we go do something?
じゃあ俺もそうするか。
That said, we have maids on duty at May Queen right now, so Mayuri and Lukako are both there, plus 2 veteran maids who refuse to give in to 4 degrees Celsius threats. Oh, good, it's not everybody. With customers fairly sparse during the morning hours, there won't be much work for us to do. Nonetheless, the 2 of us make our way towards May Queen Nyan Nyan. Oh, wait a minute, are we about to have a confrontation with 4 degrees? Akiba in the morning has a different kind of hustle and bustle to it compared to the evening hours. Stores are either just opening up or preparing to, with workers and clerks carrying merchandise and putting up displays inside and outside. And since summer vacation's in full swing, there are more casual shoppers walking around than ever. I don't know why I tried to say ever before. I stopped in a certain corner of town. Why? The sign on one of the buildings in front of me reads, used PCs. If we head straight to May Queen Nyan Nyan, Faris will probably have her mind on work for the rest of the day. How often does she have free time like this? I wonder if I could use this as an opening to give her a bit of a break.
なあフェイリス。昨日約束しただろ。レトロ PC を扱ってるショップに案内してくれるって。
Yeah, good move, son. Good move.
ちょっと行ってみないか？
これから
I mean, yeah, it's not really scheduled, but we can start right now.
おう。
Faris seems surprised by my sudden suggestion. She looks up in thought, as though she's figured out what I'm getting at, and then she grins at me.
にゅふふ。このフェイリスとデートできるなんて光栄に思ってほしいにゃ。
Oh, Faris.
デートなどではない。我が研究のためのレトロ PC 探しだ。
うふん。
Oh, really?
なんだ？
Yeah. Faris looks like she's plotting something, you know, like a cat ready to cause some mischief.
キャストオフだにゃー。
Well, I know what cast-off means. Primarily used when discussing shows that rely heavily on special effects. Cast-off refers to the moment in which the armored equipment is unequipped during a transformation sequence from one form to the next. Okay, this is not what I thought. I was thinking of a ship leaving the port. But okay, I guess that makes sense though. I think I've seen like that phrase used for like Gundam. This term's now used to refer to figures that include clothes that can be removed and reveal skin. Initially, this gimmick came into existence thanks to hobbyists who customize their own figures. In recent years, however, this has now become a rather commonplace feature in the industry. Faris immediately vanishes from my line of sight. Surprised by the suddenness of all this, I turn around to find her right behind me.
What?
キャストオフ完了。
What? Oh, is she like disembarking her alter ego and like gonna just be herself now? Oh yeah, she took the cat ears off. Holy crap! Whoa! Well, wait a minute. That's actually big. She like never does that. In front of my eyes stands not the cat girl, but a regular high school girl. Faris, trademark cat ears are gone.
何のつもりだフェイリスニャンニャン。
She's not Faris, Nyan Nyan.
何ってデートだから。
違うというのに。
私の猫耳はね、展開から使わされたフェイリスニャンニャンがフェイリスであるための呪縛なんだよ。
Okay.
だから猫耳をつけてるときは私特別な男の子と仲良くしちゃいけないの。
Right. It's all semantics, but it's adorable. Let's go with it. She gently laughs, but not in the cat-like voice she usually does. Her tone has changed completely, and there's not a nyan in sight. If anything, she sounds more elegant, sweet even. Strangely enough, these small changes are enough to completely alter the atmosphere that surrounds her.
フェイリスじゃない私は初めましてかな。
Oh, Okabe, come on, man, come on!
いや、でもフェイリスはフェイリスだろ？
No.
そうだけど。
Come on. She quickly brings her lips close to my ear. What's this fragrance? A subtle aroma, sweet and fruity, tickles my sense of smell.
ね、ものすごい秘密教えようか。
Oh, these headphones, man. They really make it, it's like it's in my ear. God, that's weird, but it's really cool. Her gentle breath brushes against my ear. Uh-huh.
マナとは違う。今の私の名前。
Oh, boy.
Oh.
She's right. There's no way Faris Nyan Nyan is her actual name. She has to have a proper normal name.
ただね、それを聞いてしまったら、京馬には魔法がかかるかもしれないよ。
Oh.
魔法？
そう。私のこと好きになっちゃう魔法。
Oh, don't be cruel like that.
は？
Instinctively, I turn around to look directly at her. Her eyes are narrowed, and I can hear her softly laugh. With such a different air about her, I can hardly think straight, but deep down, she's still the same Faris Nyan Nyan. The second I come to this conclusion, she pulls away from me.
やっぱりやめた。
え？
マユシやクーニャンに叱られるかもしれないし。
She's not wrong. Well, it's interesting that she's already kind of picked out that Kurisu is like super involved, but and I don't think they'd be mad, but they'd be shocked and a little disappointed.
なんであいつらの名前がここで出てくるんだ？
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
さあ。
Fair smiles and shrugs her shoulders before suddenly wrapping her arm around mine. She gently tugs at me.
さあ、行こう、京馬。
Her tugging is so girlish, I can't even work up the energy to pull away and scold her like I always do. Ferris smiles and giggles, leaving me at her mercy as we head toward the retro PC shop. Oh my gosh, come on. Oh my gosh!
これは
Seriously, Okabe, how are you not so freaking... I got mad at him right now. He's so stinking lucky. This would be so much fun. And the fact that they both have this like shared passion, that's so cool to find in somebody. Like regardless of whether or not you intended to like date them or not, it's like, it's cool when you can find someone you can connect with so powerfully. Wide-eyed in amazement, I stand before what can only be described as a mountain of treasure. The retro PC shop Faris has brought me to is deep within the back alley of Akiba. I imagine only the most die-hard fans know about this place. Inside and outside the store are shelves filled with old PCs. The first set of shelves in the stores are dedicated to devices that were overproduced. The prices are pretty cheap too. This includes PC 6001, 8001, 88 series, and more. And the X68, like the one enshrined in the lab's experiment room, is casually sitting here amongst other machines. Wait, what? Oh, I guess it's not the IBM 5100. The X68 is just like, it's another retro PC.
おFE Towns 2ではないか
FE Towns 2? Okay, unfortunately, we're stepping in territory I have no idea about. So it's fictional. The previous line of PCs that Fujiyama Electronics developed before its current FEV series. The generation was famous for being the first series in which all models had built-in CD-ROM drives. Its popularity exploded with the FE Towns 2, which featured a broad monitor integrated into the PC's design. So is this like the Fujiyama? Like that's similar. Okay, so that was, I guess, like, so it's referencing real computers, which had the, I always associate those Apple Macs, like the big, like rainbow clear plastic ones. Like they're the first ones I remember seeing where it was like the entire computer was in the monitor. So it's the monitor and the computer and had a disk drive, but like essentially it's talking about the same design. I latched onto the video-equipped bronze tube TV-like body. By the time I was a small child, this particular model had been discontinued. Fortunately for me, the neighborhood friend had one at their house, and we pretended to be programmers on it.
こっちのこれは NZ80C かいや
NZ80C?
80K2 か
No, an 80K2?
ねえ、見てこ
おお MC37!
Oh, it's so cute. See, there's nothing better than being able to geek out with somebody. Guy, girl, it doesn't matter. It's like, yes, we just love it so much.
ビットヒットだ
The bit hits.
その相性をしてる女子高生がいるとは思わなかったな。
That's so cool. That's so cool.
むむ、こっちはコンタか？うわあ PX78 まで。
So content of PX78. So PX78, a hobby PC developed by a famous toy maker, released in the 1980s. Game software, program languages, and even word processing software were all available for the platform. The name RX78 is a homage to the super popular robot anime Mobile Jacket Gundam. Some even refer to it as the Gundam PLC, so Gundam. RX78. Interesting. I wonder if that, if it's referencing, like, I know it's fictional, but if the RX part of that is kept, because, like, I have, like, an RX graphics card. I wonder if it's based on, like, something like this. I doubt it, but it could be. So, Kanta, type of TP100, a computer that was released for the 1980s, initially developed for playing video games. It became famous thanks to its compatibility with Japanese programs. The Ko is derived from computer. MC77, home PC released in 1983, lovingly referred to as the Bit Hit. The advertising campaign aimed to bring the previously niche market of a home PC into mainstream. To do this, they utilized a host of different tactics, like having famous idol Kamachi Seiko come in to do TV commercials. The Bit Hit series of computers would eventually reach the end of its life as something of a video game console. The same company that developed it would go on to release what many consider to be the spiritual successor to the VIAO and the NZ-ADC, released in 1978, a consumer-level PC with 8-bit processor developed by Shabo, one of the top 3 PC manufacturers at the time. It is one of the first computers domestically manufactured in Japan. The PC had an inbuilt monochrome display and a cassette tape drive that could save and load. Compared to other PCs of its time that utilized a program language built into the hardware, the NZ-ADC loaded its language from the cassette to the RAM every time that it booted. This system is very similar to present-day PCs. Yeah, it would have been a hallmark of a RAM system, which is great because RAM is flexible. Ideally, back then it probably wouldn't be super flexible, but you could probably change, so your tape would probably have your program and your operating system on it. So that way they could dedicate more of processing power to processing rather than also like housing the actual program itself. And it's amazing to think that like it was only in the 80s, like the 80s and 90s, like computers were so like weak compared to us, what we have now. We've gotten so spoiled lately. Can't help but raise my voice after seeing it sitting there naked out in the open.
ねえねえ、今日はこっちのコーナー NSX がずらっと並んでるよ。
NSX? NSX? What is even that? Standardized home computer architecture first announced in 1983. Numerous domestic hardware makers would go on to release PCs to NSX specifications. Companies like MEC and Shabo do not, however, as they held a majority of domestic shares in the market at the time. It is an unfortunate result. Most consumers ended up viewing the NSX as little more than a game console, opting to purchase less expensive, lower performing devices over the alternative. This would lead to an intensive price war, ending in the death of the NSX, with the Matsuyama Electric the only one still standing. That's one of the things that's kind of sad, right? It's like, it's not always the better product that prevails.
たまらんな。すべて買い占めたい気分だ。
I know, right? Faris and I excitedly browse the old PCs and game consoles, making our way to the back of the store. In the back, there's a showcase of super expensive and rare machines. You know, the kinds one might expect to find in a place like this.
これパパが持ってたよ。
Oh yeah. Faris's eyes sparkle with delight as she puts her face up against the case.
うわ、すごいな。これこそ本当の意味でレトロ PC だぞ。
Naturally, the price is absurd. If we were going in basic specs, it should be dirt cheap, but you could easily buy 10 of the latest PCs for this amount. Oh, wow.
フェイリスのパパさんはかなりの PC コレクターなんだな。
Well, that's where this is gonna get awkward.
結構いろんなの集めてたよ。
Listen, past tense, Okabe, clue in.
フェイリスのレトロ PC 好きはそのせいだって前入りから聞いた。
そんな感じ。あ、懐かしい。こっちのやつもパパが大事にしてた。
Faris continues to cast her gaze at the showcase, her eyes sparkling with delight. But despite her high spirits, I can't help but notice that she keeps referring to her father in the past tense. Maybe there's a reason, Okabe! Now that I think about it, the last time we visited her place, her mother was the only one that came out to greet us.
どうしたの？
Well,
私の顔に何かついてる。
いや、
あれれれ、もしかして私の名前も聞いてないのに魔法がかかっちゃった？
I mean, I wouldn't blame him.
バカ言うな。
照れちゃってかわいいにゃ。
Yeah. I pout at her. For just a moment, she laughs and then returns to her cat-like speaking style.
面白かった。
After hitting up that first shop, the two of us went on to pursue other back alley shops all across Akiba. We also checked out some retro game shops and even got into a fierce rhythm game competition in an arcade. After wandering around for a while, we eventually ended up at the open air cafe. Dang, talk about a good date. Faris has been in good spirits since the start of this little trip, and I'm glad I invited her out.
たまにはこういうのもいいものだな。
たまにはっていうのはレトロ PC やゲームをダラダラ見て回ること？それとも女の子とデートすること？
Can't it be both?
お前はまだそういうことを言うか。
Faris sticks her tongue out from between her lips.
だいたいデートで秋葉の裏通りとか PC ショップとかありえないだろう。
そっかな。
Faris puts her finger on her lip and thinks about it for a moment. It's not traditional, but the best dates aren't traditional.
でも私にとっては特別な場所なんだよ。
Yeah.
子供の頃ね、よくパパと一緒にこうやってお散歩したの。迷路みたいな路地を歩いてレトロ PC ショップを見たりゲームをしたり。
Wow.
本当に楽しかったな。
Faris's gaze shifts as though she's looking far off into the distance. Go on, Okabe.
その時ね、パパがよく言ってた。ルミホはいつまでパパと一緒にこうして歩いてくれるのかなって。いつか大切な人ができたらパパじゃなくてその人と歩くのかなって。
Girl, you can't say that! You can't say stuff like that! That's not fair!
だからね、私にとっては特別な場所なの。
Fetch. Faris laughed softly, but I could still see a flash of loneliness in her eyes, as though she's chasing after something far in the past. The smile suddenly drops from Faris's face and she covers her mouth. Panicked, she starts to blink rapidly.
どうした？
今教えちゃった、私の名前。
そうだったか？
Wait, what? 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 Oh my gosh, she did! She said, because you quoted her, like, her dad. Rumio. I didn't even catch that. It was just like, it's like, right over my head.
とぼけてる。聞いたでしょ。
おう、まあ。
Rumi, huh? That's what Faris said to me.
ああ、これで魔法がかかっちゃったね、今日は。
それはない。
Not yet. I like how he said not yet, though.
まできっぱり言わなくてもいいじゃない。
Faris pouts with her small red lips.
今日なんかそんなに意地悪だとは思わなかったな。
俺は残虐なるマッドサイエンティストだからな、当然だ。
嘘。優しくてお人よしで、あとお人よしで優しいくせに。
Wait, what? Is it supposed to repeat itself?
その2つしかないのか？
Yes, that's right. You're super kind and compassionate, and you're kind and compassionate. Like, nothing else? Rubio's and Faris's expression brightens, and she takes a sip of the iced tea sitting at the table. Then, after playing with her straw for a moment,
あのね、今日も。
ん？
今日はありがとう。そしてごめんなさい。
for what?
何がだ？
私がかなり参ってることバレちゃってたんだね。
Only a little bit.
何のことかわからんな。
はにゃ フェイリスニャンニャンもまだまだ修行が足りないにゃ
まだまだも何も、お前は高校生なんだ。そんなに頑張る必要はないだろ。
フェイリスにはそうも言ってられない事情があるのにゃ。
What reasons could she be referring to? If nothing else, I feel like I'm finally starting to understand. I've always seen Faris as a girl that lives life at her own pace, but in all reality, she's just a normal high school girl. And that normal high school girl is shouldering an absurdly heavy burden.
なあ、フェイリス。もっと俺たちを頼ればいい。そのための仲間だろ。
Yes, sir. Come on, Faris. Come on. You gotta come halfway here.
またそういう顔をするんだな。お前、今困ったような顔をした。前もそうだった。みんなに迷惑とか、みんなに悪いとか、そんな風に思うのはやめてもらった方が嬉しい。少なくとも俺はそう思う。
Yeah. You tell her. You tell her.
ごめんなさい。
Don't be sorry.
だから謝るなよ。
I shoot her a light glare, and Faris immediately looks away. Pretty rare for someone like her who always looks people in the eye when she talks.
私
It's interesting because like Faris reminds me a lot of somebody else who I knew, and like they were very much like so self-determined. They really often wouldn't take like they struggled really a lot with accepting help, and when they did, they felt like awful for it. But it's a sign of undue pride. I think I've talked about this before with Faris in her story in Linear Bound Phenogram. Like it was the same problem where she takes upon so much of a burden on herself. Like she is not willing, because she doesn't want to be burdening her friends. She doesn't see that while she's willing to take on their burdens, no problem, she's not willing to share them. It's a one-sided relationship that's going to burn you out. And she's developed a whole persona to help her deal with that burnout. But the thing is that like that's only going to take her so far. She needs to learn to trust. I hope she will, but it's not going to be easy. It's never easy.
ずっと大人たちに混じって戦ってきたの。大切なものを守るために。大人の中にはいろんな人がいて、私を利用しようと笑顔を見せながら近寄ってきたり、味方だって言いながら次の日には平気で裏切ったり。
Dang. Can you imagine that? Where, like, your entire life as a child was revolved and treated like a business? I mean, effectively it was, because she's in charge of, like, Akiba and development, but, like, how low, like, these people would be willing to just manipulate her because they knew they could. It's just disgusting.
私がいなくなればいいのにって、本気で思ってる人たちも大勢いるわ。
Fetch.
そんな。
She's just a high school girl. She's just a tiny cat-like girl. Why? How could anyone think like that?
だからね。私、こんなに可愛くない子になっちゃったんだ。私、目を見れば、その人の心が読めるの。今、何を考えていて、これから私をどうしようとしてるのか、とか。
That's disturbing.
私にどのくらい敵意を持っていて、どのくらい邪魔だと思っているのか、とか。みんなわかっちゃう。
Dang.
でも、逆に自分の心は読ませない。絶対に。ね。可愛くないでしょ。
I'd say that's not true in the slightest. Faris raises the corners of her mouth just a little bit, but the usual twinkle in her eyes is gone. They're devoid of all light.
だからね。京馬たちといると、怖いの。
怖い？
そう。みんな裏表なしに私のことを心配してくれて、 何の見返りも求めてこなくて。ただ、私のためだけにいろいろなことをしてくれ。
It's so crazy to imagine that that would be like scary, but like after having survived and constantly being in a battleground of like effectively like abuse and of power and of relationships and of manipulation, like being and having to be on guard at all times for such manipulation tactics, to have people who are genuinely wanting to be her friend, like, yeah, she doesn't have the lifetime of like playing on playgrounds that we all grew up with, or understanding the fact that we can have intrinsic friendship that means that we just want to help each other because we just happen to like each other. She never got that. And so, yeah, like, it seems really bizarre, but when you really think about it, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what I think one of the big problems that happens with like with soldiers coming back from war. I mean, we have PTSD is the diagnosable condition of people who are struggling when they get back to recover from the trauma and the constant like life or death, like high octane, high adrenaline situations where every second counts and where they might watch friends die if they do something wrong, or even if they don't do something wrong, but they might still perceive it as something wrong. That haunts people. Now, she's never been to a battlefield, but when it comes to the business world, she's actively a soldier there. So yeah, when it comes to social pressures and like interactions, she has been traumatized. So yeah, just like a soldier returning home and trying to reinsert into a normal life, there's that shadow hanging over you at all times, or something like can trigger like loud bangs, loud noises. Those can set you off because they bring back that adrenaline rush and that fear that you or someone you care about is about to die for something you don't even understand properly. Not that like you don't understand, but the idea of like in the moment, like it's not like you're conceptualizing like the motivations and political discourses that led to this altercation. It's like, no, it's life or death, live or die. She's in a social version of that. And so she's now worried and terrified because when she's surrounded by people whom are genuinely trying to help her, she can't help but reflexively remember all the times as she grew up that she thought people were there for her who then stabbed her in the back. So she just can't bring herself to trust them. Not truly, not deeply. There's a big difference between trusting people to just be your friends and even to be coworkers, but another to truly, truly trust them with something you're vulnerable with, something that could be used against you. That's kind of what the definition of a true relationship in marriage is being able to forfeit that safety of reclusiveness, being able to offer up all of yourself, including all your vulnerabilities, to somebody else, and that is the foundation of a true relationship. But that's what's so terrifying about relationships, because that can end in betrayal, and when it does, it strikes far deeper than you ever could imagine. I've never even truly experienced that betrayal. I've had breakups before that weren't pleasant, but never to that level. And Faris is already understanding that concept when she's like 17. That's terrifying.
私、そういうお友達を持ったことがないから、怖いんだ。こんな素敵な関係を壊したくない、失いたくないって思うのに。じゃあ、どうしたら失わずに済むのか、全くわからないの。
God, gosh.
いつか、京馬たちが私のことを必要としなくなって。でも、私はそれをどうすることもできなくて。みんな、どこかへ行っちゃうんじゃないかって、そんなことばっかり考えてる。
I suffer the same problem. And if you think about it, like, the first thing is to be like, oh no, of course not, but how many of you have had friends that drifted away? How many of you have had friendships that shattered for some weird reason, maybe even reasons you don't understand, and then people who you cherished are suddenly just never in your life anymore? It's happened to all of us. Faris is terrified of that, because this is the first time she's had friends, and she's having friends at a later time where she now understands the chaos and the danger and the terror of like having to lose these like bonds that she like cherishes so much. But again, she's being so hyper protective of them that she's never truly embracing the friendship that she has. So it's also destructive. But man, like, can you just flat out tell her like no? I mean, we know because the fictional characters, we understand that they won't, but in reality, if this were you, can you truly say that your friendships now, as much as you want them to, like, do you know for a fact that those people will never end up stepping away or fading away or even betraying you? You can't. So how could you tell Faris that? How much do I want to? I'd really want to, but like, would you be lying? Would you be unsure? Because she'll know too. So I don't even know how I would address this. If I were sitting in front of Faris right now, I think the only avenue I could offer her was to say that I can't guarantee that that couldn't happen. But sometimes it's better to trust and be betrayed. Because living your life assuming you'll be betrayed is just an endless pit of misery. You just have to try and trust the right people and then trust them. Because that's the nature of trust. That you can't trust somebody unless you're giving them the ability to betray you. But that trust is so critical and so important and so fundamental, I think, that it's a step that has to be taken. And it takes bravery, especially if you really understand what that betrayal could mean. But how do you just tell that to somebody who's wallowing in self-doubt and fear that history will just keep repeating itself?
Faris.
バカだな、私。
Aww. I can't even begin to imagine the type of world that Faris has lived in up till now. This little soul has been fighting alone in the world so long that she's lost sight of the things most important to her. She's lost sight of the fact that those important things are right there in front of her, and that taking hold of them is easy as pie. Without thinking, I extend my hand and place it on Faris's head. I ruffle her hair around. Aww.
何？
That's a pretty cute picture right there. Oh, Faris.
本当だな。まったくバカなやつだ。お前がこんなにバカだとは思わなかったぞ、フェイリスニャンニャン。
そんなにバカだか言わなくたって。
信じろ。俺たちを。
Have a little faith. What a great answer. Good job, man. Faris stops reaching for her hair.
どうしたら失わずに済むかなんて簡単なことだ。俺たちを信じればいい。
Trust. Again, it comes down to trust.
いつか俺たちがお前を必要としなくなるだと。どこかへ行ってしまうだと。くだらないことを考えるな。俺たちはお前と一緒にいる。そしてお前は俺たちと一緒にいる。この関係がそう簡単になくなってたまるか。
So good.
何があろうとお前はラボの一員だ。
No matter what happens, you will always be a lab mem.
こんな簡単なことがお前には信じられないのか。
ラボの一員？何があっても？
No matter what.
おう。
京馬やみんなとずっと一緒。
Forever.
その通りだ。
Great answer.
そっか。
Yeah, I think I like this one better, actually. I really think I like this one better. Faris's hand drops to her lap and she looks down at it. The hair I ruffled up is covering her eyes, hiding her expression. For a short while, Faris goes silent, without the slightest idea of what she's thinking about. I remain silent as well. The cafe's filled with people loudly chatting away around us. The blaring sun shines through our parasol and onto us. It's so bright that even the shade starts to look pitch black. And then... After some time, Faris quietly raises her head. She wears a tiny smile on her face.
京馬って。
ん？
かっこいいね。
You know what? He kind of is, isn't he?
No.
Her comment is so out of nowhere that I have no idea how to respond.
何の話だいきなり。
魔法、本当にかけたくなっちゃった。
I like how she didn't at first. Like, she was kind of like toying with him. Like, she really was. Like, she felt like, oh, he's kind of cute, but like, whatever. But now she's like, all right, maybe there is something here.
おい。
Faris pulls back her ruffled hair and brings her face close to mine.
クーニャンやマユシーとバトルになるのはちょっと嫌だけど。
I didn't want to have to compete with them, but now, oh
だから
no.
なんであいつらの名前が出てくるんだ。
Dumbfounded by this sudden series of events, I only barely managed to squeeze words out.
そんなこともわからないなんて。
Come on, Faris. He's kind of an idiot in this regard.
今日もバカだね。
He really is. Faris's hand zips over to my head.
わっ。
お返し。
She playfully starts messing my hair up.
あ、こら、やめろ。こら。
引っかかった。
おのれ。
I reach for Faris's hair and return the favor.
もうやめてよ。今朝しっかりセットしてきたのに。
そんなことは知らん。
にゃー。助けてにゃー。
Blind to the surprise of the customers around us, Faris and I continue to mess around with each other's hair. We eventually stop, the both of us breathing heavily.
今日待ってばすっごい髪型。
Oh gosh.
お前こそな。
もうこの後お仕事なのに。
そんなこと言ったら俺もだぞ。
ちゃんと直して。
Okay. Faris points to her head at me. With a sigh, I comb her hair with my fingers. Faris narrows her eyes. She's enjoying this. Who wouldn't? I don't know about this. Okay, I can't be alone in this, right? There's nothing better than having somebody run their hand through your hair. Maybe even I love getting like a haircut where they're using like a comb and stuff. Like that still feels really good. But man, when someone just gives you like a scalp massage or even just like kind of toying with your hair, I love that. It really is like the best.
極楽だ。
I agree.
ほら、できたぞ。俺の髪も直せ。
はいはい。
Aw, this is really cute. This is super cute. This is freaking adorable. Next, Faris starts combing my hair. Her slender fingers feel absolutely delightful.
ねえ、今日も
Aw.
うん。
私信じるよ。今日もみんなも。
Good.
そうか。
Good.
あとはね。
ん？
その私ね。
Yeah. Oh gosh darn it. Right at that moment, our cell phones ring almost simultaneously. Oh no, this can't be good. I quickly reach into my pocket. Faris immediately backs away and starts rummaging through her bag for hers.
お、マユリ？
私のはルカニャンからだ。
Uh-oh.
今は仕事中のはずだが。
何かあったのかな。
もしもし。
Uh-oh. Oh, that doesn't look good.
なんか
Oh no.
どうした？
トラックがバーっていっぱいなんだよ。
Trucks?
トラック？
What on earth could that be?
それでビルの中がドドドーって。
What? What?
へい、バーとかドドドじゃさっぱりわからん。もっとちゃんと話せ。
Mayor is clearly panicked. Across from me, it seems like Faris has gotten a much better explanation of the situation from Lukako. She stands up, almost kicking the chair out from under her.
今行くね。ルカニャンたちは何もしないでじっとしてて。
Faris and I exchange looks before she quickly starts to make her way toward the May Queen Yan. I'm right behind her.
とりあえず話はそっちで聞く。ルカ子たちとおとなしくしていろ。いいな。
All
何
right.
があったんだ
Yeah, what's going on, Faris? Come on.
ルカニャもかなり動揺してて、ただシドが何か仕掛けてきたみたい。
Oh, fetch. Of course he is.
何
とにかく、急がなきゃ。
Right.
あ
You okay? Before we realize that, our brisk walk has turned into a dash. Faris re-equips her cat ears.
戦闘モードに突入だにゃ。
Alright, let's do it. I can see the fire in this cat girl's eyes. That shame, cat girl begins to send emails out to different people while she sprints towards her cafe. Faris in battle mode.
これは
Oh boy, oh boy. We'll have to see what this is all about, but we're gonna save that for next time. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Oh, it's getting spicy, but that was adorable. By the way, though, let's take a look at this. Like, normally I put up a slide, but I think I might keep this one here just because, like, this looks interesting. I wonder what on earth they're gonna be doing. But, oh, Faris. You're such an interesting person. She's adorable, but also just one of the most fascinating of the characters. That's one of the reasons why I think she's really like my favorite character. It's like, of course, I love all the characters, and Curtis is fantastic as like, you know, like she and Okabe are definitely like the best pairing, I think. But Faris is genuinely just something special. From the first time I like went through her story, I've always been just struck with her. So like it's really fun to be able to do this storyline with and play through and just kind of like getting to know her again, yet through another perspective, another window. The writers just know the character so well here. It's really impressive. But we'll have to see how this all plays out next time, because now it's going to get exciting. I imagine next episode is going to start off with quite a lot of drama. So I guess we'll have to buckle up for that, but that'll all happen to happen next week. Thank you so much to the patrons who have made this such a great thing. Remember, they are the lab mems of this. Remember, you will always be a lab mem. Whether you donate once to the channel to help support it, or you continue to donate for, as long as you feel is reasonable, you are officially inducted as a official lab mem. You'll have your name at the end of the video until such a time as I have to change that. But regardless, you'll have access to all the perks that are available, especially the patron cast. So if you ever want to be a part of that, like, feel free to become a lab mem today, join this. But you know what, you're already honorary lab member regardless of any reason you're here, because you're here, you're watching the video. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate everything you guys do. I look forward to reading the comments. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this, and more importantly, now since we're focusing on Faris, what do you think about that? And what do you think about the questions I asked about, like, you know, being able to trust people, or what about like suffering? I almost would consider it like social abuse is kind of what Faris has experienced. Not like there's emotional abuse, there's physical abuse, and she's kind of had social abuse. So what do you think about that concept and like working with that? And then also, like, what do you think about trust and friendships? Obviously, we've all had friendships fall apart, but do you still find it worth putting trust in people, or do you struggle with that as well for your own reasons? I'd really like to know about that. So hopefully you'll be able to feel comfortable sharing some of that. Obviously, don't no pressure or anything, but I'd really love to read your comments on it. Be good for a good discussion down below. But yeah, look for anything you want and for links in description. We're jumping into February, which is always very exciting. We'll have to see how this whole month plays out. Hope you have a great one. But until next video, watching me up, see me next. I'll see you there.